What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. I am up and out, trying to stay consistent, get into it. This morning was crazy. So, Artist, this was his first time getting on the bus. So, I'm nervous, but I guess he made it. Look, we put him on a bus and we sent him on his way, okay? And then my daughter, I took her to school, just dropped her off, probably like an hour ago now. Y'all, my girl was so busy this morning, I forgot to bring the bottles. Forgot to bring the bottles to school today, but we here. So I just now coming back from dropping the bottles to the school because my girl needs her bottle. She does eat a little table food because she is 9 months and stuff, but she needs a bottle. So back on my live. This is why I do what I do for my kids, for my family. So today I want to talk a little bit about my wig journey and why I started making wigs. That is such a loaded question, but I'm gonna start. Okay, so when I went to Howard, because I did go to Howard, I graduated from Howard. I was doing sew-ins on campus, and it was lovely. I was also doing sew-ins on myself, and I have a scalp condition called seborrheic dermatitis. So with the seborrheic dermatitis, it makes you have like really itchy, dry scalp. And with the sew-ins, I needed something that was going to be able to take on and off, so that I could wash my hair more often than the average person. So I started looking into what a U-part wig was, right? So because I was hooked on a leave out, and closures was like very new. This was about 2012. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make me a U-part wig so that I can be able to do my braids over after I give myself my scalp treatment and everything. And it would save a lot of time because I was spending a lot of time doing my own hair at the time. So most of my hair issues have come from, my own pain points and sharing it with others. So with the wig business, it was like, oh, well, I made myself a U-part wig, so I'm able to switch up my hair, do different styles, curls, everything. And so people started asking me, how are you doing your hair so often, so different, or whatever? And I started telling them about the U-part wigs, because the U-part wigs was a solution to my pain point, my itchy scalp. I was able to take it off. I had put clips on them. You could even sew them down if you was going somewhere. So that's how it really started. And then I started sharing my experience with my clients that had itchy scalp, and then they wanted a U-part wig. So everybody wanted a U-part wig at that time. And I was making them. And I was making them their head size and the amount of leave out, so it was more tailored than buying it from the beauty supply store. So a lot of people really appreciated the U-part wigs back in 2012 because there were not a lot of custom made wig options that was fitting people's heads, that you could easily clip on, clip off, whatever. So after the U-part wigs, of course, I fried my leave out to death. Okay, I've always had long hair, but my leave out was about 2 inches by the time I got done with them U-part wigs. So I was like, man, my hair in the back is so beautiful. How am I going to get the front to look like the back? So now we have another problem, right? And so the solution was, I'm gonna start doing closures. So I did not know much about closures, but I had seen people offering it back then. So I kind of bought a closure, and I took a class, and then I felt confident on it, and I went ahead and started offering, started making my own closure wigs. So at first it started with closure sewing, because now I'm like, I need this to stick down. Like, I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, really make it look natural. But I needed it to be able to take on and off. So eventually it became, I do closure wigs. So that way I could sew down the closure wig, put it behind the hairline. So all this new hairline showing closure wig, all that, I've been doing it since 2013. Like, we've been doing it. And I have the pictures to prove it. But anyway, so my clients started wanting it as well. So I started making closure wigs for people. Now, I will say, it wasn't until I moved back to Atlanta after I graduated from college and I started working in some of the Atlanta salons that I started getting exposed to what a glueless frontal wig could look like. Okay? So that was like 2015. I started doing, I had a girl I was working with, her name was Shar. She was doing frontal glueless wigs, and so she showed me how to do it, and we was working together. We were real cool. We still cool or whatever, but I just haven't talked to her in a while. So yeah, she showed me how to do it because I was already making wigs and I know how to color. And at this point, I'm in hair school, or I graduated hair school already. So I have all the skills, but I didn't have the knowledge on how to do the placement for the frontal. Now we talking, oh, you a wig maker. You know, like, this was a game changer because a lot of the people around me were gluing down the frontals, experimenting with, you know, tape and everything to get the glue, to get the frontal to stay. But I knew how to make the glueless frontal wigs now. And I was already known for doing U-parts and closures. So boom. That's pretty much how I got into making glueless frontal wigs from scratch. Now I'm doing all of this by hand. And I was pretty fast at it because I was doing it a lot. But I really wanted to learn how to do it on the sewing machine. I just wasn't sure how to do it. I didn't really know how to do it. I didn't even know how to work a sewing machine. So when the world closed down in 2020, I was like, oh man, I'm about to just learn how to do my sewing machine. So I paid a seamstress to show me my wedding. Okay, so I had a wedding in 2018, and I had a seamstress who was black alter my dress, right? So when she altered the dress, I told her that I wanted to learn how to sew. I knew she wasn't going to know how to do a wig on the sewing machine, but she could show me my way around the sewing machine. So I started taking classes with her. She charged me, I feel like it was like $55 an hour or something to that nature. I had 3 sessions with her, and she let me borrow her sewing machine. So I was practicing, just learning my way around the sewing machine for some time. And it was just a traditional singer. And then when the world closed down, I decided to go and take an online wig making class. And that class isn't even available anymore. I don't think. The girl don't do it anymore. But she was really talented, and she was going viral because she already had a virtual academy for teaching people how to make the wigs on the sewing machine before it was popular. Before online classes was popular, she already had it done. So I was like, bet. I paid the money, joined her community, learned how to make the wigs, start practicing. And I already, at this point, I knew how to quote unquote sew. I just needed to get an updated machine that was going to be able to do, you know, the wigs. I was going to be able to sew the wigs on the sewing machine. So there's a different type of machine than the one that I was practicing on. So I paid the investment, ordered me a sewing machine from Michael's. The world is closed, and we don't know when we're going back to work. And I'm also, at that time, I was pregnant. So I definitely didn't know when I was going back to work. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take my time learning how to do this. It was like a 1, 2, 3. Her class was in depth or whatever. And I learned how to make the sewing machine, the wig on the sewing machine, the frontal wig on the sewing machine specifically. So I took my knowledge from doing the glueless frontals and I applied it to on a sewing machine. It's the same placement. It's just it's on the sewing machine now. So, and then I realized that those wigs last longer and they take a little less time than sewing it by hand. There's a lot of manual work. Once you really understand your sewing machine, you get to sewing, you could do a couple wigs in an hour. Versus when you're doing it manually, you can, it's very, very, it's a little slower. So I started my journey by my scalp condition, wanting ease. So now what I promote is these wigs that you're able to take on and off at night so that you can oil your scalp, protect your hair. You know, everyone talks about growing their hair back, but ain't nobody really protecting their hair, doing what they gotta do to do what they do to the back of the hair to the front. And so that looks like putting braids in the front, right? Just as if you are doing it to the back. A lot of people hair, they got hair in the back, but in the front it's thin. They got no edges or whatever because of all the heat and everything. Just give it a break. Go ahead and put the wig on so that you're able to, you know, have some options when it comes to your real hair. You want your real hair to be healthy. You need a wig, basically. So yeah, I am asking you all today if you are interested in Wigs. We have a small sale. It's a 48-hour sale, marking down some of our signature collections to $250. No code needed. And you can visit that on SavelteWigs.com. And then if you are interested in learning my technique on how to do the glueless wigs on a sewing machine, you can message Blueprint for a special. We do have an online academy. It's thriving right now, and I want to share what it looks like to you know, have that type of experience, whether you're making the wig for yourself like myself, or if you're making the wig for others. It's a great way to create revenue, right? And it's a great way to skip the chaos. Everybody on YouTube, everybody doing this and doing that, trying to figure out how to do it, and no one's telling you the real secret. And the real secret takes about 2 minutes, but they skipping over it. So if you're tired of searching on YouTube for the right answer, if you're tired of guessing when you're making wigs, tired of trying to figure out why your wigs don't fit, why, you know what I'm saying, sometimes they right, sometimes they wrong, take the guessing game out and get in your bag. DM me or comment below Blueprint, and we're gonna get you the blueprint. All right, that's all for now.